Whoa, whoa, that's so odd. Oh my god. We humans feel like our own body belongs to, well, us. We have no problem distinguishing parts of our own body from those of others, even when other people are close by, move in sync or look like us. This sense of body ownership, as it is called in psychology, feels like a stable concept. This gives us a feeling of control and enables all kinds of motor actions and peak performance. Although body ownership may feel like a stable concept to us, the rubber hand illusion shows us that our physical sense of self is a lot more malleable than we may realize. The illusion works as follows. A person's real hand is hidden from view and visually replaced with a fake rubber hand. By brushing both the real and the fake hand simultaneously, the brain merges together the feeling of our own hand being touched and the visual input of the fake hand being touched. The more activation of the brain areas that integrate the visual and the tactile information, the stronger the feeling that the rubber hand is part of our own body.
Like, I actually feel like that's my actual hand, and my hand is just really pink for some reason. It's swollen. Why is it? This is so weird. Like, I'm looking down at it.
In only a matter of minutes, this can lead us to fully adopt the rubber hand as a part of our own body.
Yeah, the more you do it, the weirder it gets.
When this new hand is threatened, we respond to it in the same way we would respond if it was truly part of our own body.
Yeah, that gave me a fright.
Whoa, whoa, that's so odd. Oh my god. Nah, I don't like that. On a neurological level, a threat to the rubber hand has been shown to induce a similar level of activity in the brain areas associated with anxiety and interoceptive awareness as when the person's real hand is threatened. Our brains are convinced this new hand is ours. Alright, we've established that when it's a human hand, this effect is very convincing. But what happens if it's a monster hand that we're using?
It's increasing again, it's really weird. How is it to have a monster hand? Very cool.
Or maybe a wooden mannequin hand.
I actually think that there's no hand on the other side. Like, I feel it on my other hand in the exact same spots that I'm feeling it on this hand.
But you still know that, like I'm touching your other hand, or?
Well, I know, but like I forgot.
Kids can be convinced that non-human hands are part of their body. Perhaps they're just more imaginative and have a less stable sense of self than adults do. At first, that's the result we found. Adults are receptive to a rubber hand, but not to a monster hand. But then,
Yes.
Does it kind of feel like it's your own hand?
Yes, it does.
this hand is blue and flat. It's clearly not a human hand, yet we're still finding the effect. Perhaps if the size of the hand is similar enough to the size of an actual hand, it's easier to believe that the hand is our own.
I'm trying to focus. If it's just like, I can just feel it touching my hand.
So far we focused on how much fun it can be to manipulate the relationship between the mind and the body. But people can also lose their sense of body ownership permanently. And as you can imagine, this is highly impairing. When people suffer brain damage, they sometimes develop a condition called alien limb syndrome. In this condition, a limb, most often the left hand, starts to move and perform actions on its own. There are even reports where the alienated hand started to beat the owner, or even tried to strangle them. This may sound like a bad horror movie, but for the affected patients, the feeling of a supernatural power controlling their hand is everyday reality. Our concept of self seems to be very flexible. Both the alien hand syndrome and the rubber hand illusion illustrate that the relation we have with our bodies doesn't come naturally. It's a construction that our brain builds for us, and that can be manipulated. We've seen that the brain is not very selective when it comes to adopting a new hand. As long as the tactile input and the visual input match, the illusion works. This includes hands with an incongruent skin color, a massive monster hand, and even a blue two-dimensional hand. While making this video, we discovered some more interesting details. There were individual differences in susceptibility to the illusion. Some people are easily tricked into believing a monster hand was theirs, others would not adapt a realistic rubber hand even after minutes of synchronous input. We also noticed some regularities. Compared to adults, children required much less time before their brains had adopted the new hand. Apparently, children are more open-minded. Literally. And another interesting detail, there was a clear consensus that the effect was strongest with the thumb. Our goal for this video was to push the boundaries of the rubber hand illusion, which we clearly managed. This raises the question, how far can we still go? Can we replace larger body parts than just a hand? Can we use objects that don't look like hands at all? Let us know what you think, and thanks for watching.
Give Christine and Philip a good and Paula. Give Christine and Philip and Paula a good grade.